What's going on, everybody? Sam back at it again for an episode of On the Couch, but with a special guest, Rabambi Teacher. Rabambi, how you doing?
I'm doing really well. I'm out here looking at a lot of games that came out this year and last year, trying to figure out which ones are my favorite.
That is a good thing because you know what? That's what we're here to do today. We're talking 2021, 2021. I was right. Or 2020 updates, stuff for games that came out between January to now, and we're gonna talk about some of the great games and we're gonna talk about some of the bad games. With you being our guest, you want to start with some of the good games or some of the bad games?
We can kind of mix between a lot of them because I think, honestly, to preface my top five, like looking at this year's games, a lot of them were remakes.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
a lot of them were definitely either a complete buggy mess, like the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition,
Hmm.
which ended up getting taken off of Rockstar's store until they fixed over 100 bugs that they found in the game, which makes me question how on earth they managed to release that. But and things like that. There were a lot of games that were kind of hyped, but kind of didn't really live up to it.
Didn't really do much.
Uh,
Kind of like the Battlefield 2042.
Battlefield was a mess.
It was the
A
big mess.
complete mess. And then I'm just looking through a lot of the games, like Bravely Default 2 didn't really catch my eye. I was watching a bunch of
Well,
people play it.
or we could
Rogue
talk about
Company was
the
so hyped.
what about the Nickelodeon All Stars Brawl?
Oh my goodness, what happened with that? Like, how was
They
that a full game? I remember going to my friend Average's stream, and I was watching him play, and I was like, "Oh, is this one of those like free Smash knockoffs?" And he's like, "No, it's a
no.
$40 game," and I'm like,
What you see?
"Why?"
What makes that game even worse right now for me is next year, Warner Brothers is doing one with their IPs that's going to be free to play, cross play, and just better.
Theoretically, yeah.
Theoretically. I mean,
Theoretically.
you already got me sold with the voice of Scooby Doo reprising his role in the game.
See, that's worth it though. Like, if you can get good voice acting in the game, I think it's worth it. But like, Nickelodeon didn't have any.
There's an update apparently coming out with voice acting.
This should have been there from the start. I don't care
Really
if it's
should
an
have.
update. It should have been there from the start.
It really should have. But minus all the bad ones. I mean, Marvel's Avengers got remade this year in March for PS5 and the Series X. It looks like, and I mean, that
I'm
wasn't
not
really
much
that
of a
groundbreaking.
Marvel type of player, but like, I can't imagine that game really would take off. Like, I know a bunch of Marvel fans, and none of them are excited for it.
Yeah, not a lot of people were excited for that. But one of the big games I think that did come out this year that my personally I did not really play. I don't know about you, but I believe Kingdom Hearts 3 came out this year.
Yeah, I didn't play that either. I watched a bunch of people play it. I never understand Kingdom Hearts, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I'm
I
with you on
feel
that
like
one.
that's the point of it, is you're not supposed to understand it, but at the same time, I'm the kind of person that wants to understand what I'm playing.
Yeah,
So, like, it just never appealed to me. But it is a good game, and for a lot of
it
people
is.
that did play it, like, it was enjoyable. I did like a lot of the music in the game. I've always
Oh,
liked Kingdom Hearts
the
music.
music is always
Music
great.
blows everything out of the water. But yeah, that's what really catches me a lot with a lot of games is music.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. That game was great music. And then I think one more surprise one that kind of came out for me that was a nice free game, Pac-Man 99.
I saw that. I thought that came out last year. It's been a while since it's been out, if I remember
Yeah,
right. But yeah,
April 7th it came out. Pac-Man 99. Not a bad game. That was actually really fun when I first played it.
yeah, I think I skipped that one. I don't remember.
It
No, I
wasn't too
didn't
bad.
skip it. I think a friend of mine played it. I went around my friend's house and we played it over there.
Ah, yes.
That was quite fun. I definitely enjoyed it. But Pac-Man is an old school game
Oh
for
yeah,
me,
just see it come
and
back
I
kind of
love
like
the fact that it's. I like it. I
yeah.
like that they've redone it.
I mean, it came back like Tetris did with their Tetris 99.
Tetris 99, yeah.
So I'm very happy with that. And
I wanna see
there's
more games like that. Can you imagine a Pong 99?
how would that work?
I know, it'd be
What
so
does everyone get into like a
bizarre, but
giant circle? If it passes you, you're done.
yeah, I know, right? How funny would that be?
Oh my god. Oh Jesus Christ. And then
D
Biomutant. That was a game I wanted to try out. That came out for Xbox One and PS4. It seemed pretty interesting, not gonna lie, but it wasn't as notable as some of these other games we're gonna talk about a little later.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I saw the name pop up, but I don't own an Xbox or a PS4. And
Ah,
then I was looking at it, and I'm like, well, not really my thing. I'm more of a Switch guy
now I'm with
and
you
a
on that
PC
one.
guy for that.
But speaking of Switch, why don't we could get into some of the good games that came out now. What if you had to pick a top five, as we were talking about earlier? What's your number five game of the year?
Um, I put Pokemon Unite tentatively, because obviously as a Pokemon guy, you can probably tell that behind me. But as a Pokemon guy, like that game kind of surprised me because Pokemon and MOBA didn't really ever kind of feel it. Although I did call it in the Presents trailer when it
you
first came,
you knew it was
first
coming,
got
but
announced.
honestly,
I guessed.
I will have to say number five is also Pokemon Unite for me. I thought it was a great game. It's like honestly for me, I wasn't a big fan of MOBAs, but it felt like a good beginner MOBA to like really get the ball rolling for some people with characters that people already know and just kind of simple gameplay, which made it nice and
Yeah.
easy,
They're still updating it too.
which is
They've just
good.
dropped Serena, Dragonite's coming out in a couple of days. But like honestly, the problem I had with the game at the end, which is why I said tentatively I put it at 5,
Hmm.
was because the matchmaking.
Yeah,
And I
matchmaking was bad.
really,
Um,
really hated that.
Mobile kind of deterred it for me as well because you get something from mobile, but then I tried playing on mobile and it controls very poorly, in my personal opinion. I don't like it on the mobile. It's not fun. It's not the
No.
greatest.
And the fact that mobile players are playing with Switch players as well, and a Switch can often be a more powerful unit, it's like,
Yeah,
okay,
like these Switch
the Switch
player,
controls are intuitive.
it's ridiculous.
But I mean, the game came out. It surprised a lot of people. I think it was definitely a game that I enjoyed for a long time. I think I put like 200 hours into it in 2 months.
Yeah, I
Like
can believe that.
I put a lot of work into that game. I streamed it a lot too.
Yeah,
Like
I
I put
remember.
a
Yeah,
lot of time into that game. I even tried to help you climb too.
you
But
did.
like,
You did.
it's a game that definitely got a lot of people interested, but they couldn't keep my attention as much as I would have liked.
Yeah,
Um,
I kind of fell away from that too. Like I'm not really playing it as much anymore. I'm playing a
I
lot more of some other games.
I can't even remember the last time I played Unite actually.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. What would you say is your number four game going forward here?
So my number fourth one, I kind of cheated a little bit because it's one I didn't actually play, but it's one that I watched you play a lot, and that was Mario Golf Super Rush.
Ooh, yes.
Because that game, like, I saw it when it was announced in the whole direct thing, and I was hyped for it. I
Hmm.
was excited for it. But then when release came down, I think I just didn't buy it in the end. I don't even know why. I just didn't buy it.
You
I
just
think it
didn't
was at
feel
the
it.
time when other games were coming out. Oh, it was because new Pokemon Snap was relatively nearby.
Ah, that's what it is.
Um, and that game does not feature on my list, surprisingly.
Same here.
Um, but that was another game that was disappointing. But I love Mario Golf Super Rush's actual gameplay to it. And I
Hmm.
like the fact they're actually adding to it all the time, like new
Yeah.
courses, new characters.
I
I
was
think
gonna say
Shy
there
Guy
was a
just dropped
huge new
recently.
update that came out beginning of December. I did stream that a little bit if you saw it. But
I
they're
remember
still
that.
keeping it updated, which is good. But that also kind of hurts it in a way where like people are kind of already cycled out of it and they're done with it.
Yeah, well, it might refresh and bring some people back in, but it's one of those where they'll do it as much as they can until the next game came out.
Yeah,
I think did Super Mario Party Superstars come out afterwards or before?
it came
I don't
out after.
remember.
It came out
Yeah,
later this year.
so
But
that's kind of the next one, really.
yeah, I was gonna say for me, my number four has to go to probably Halo Infinite. I've been playing that a little bit. It's been good for a good multiplayer game, but at the same time, it kind of falters a lot. Where it made me go out and buy an old Halo game to go play that instead because it was more fun.
Mm.
But I still like it for what it was. But I'll also give it a tie with WarioWare Shake It Up because I thought that was a fun like little game, but unfortunately, I feel like it died too quickly for me.
Yeah, I don't actually remember watching WarioWare at all. I remember the trailer for it, and it didn't appeal to me in the slightest. But at the same time, it's like I can see why people would like it, but
Yeah,
I could see that just being a fad game. Like, there's a lot of fad games that come out and then they
yeah.
die very quick.
I like I said, I really liked the game. Like it was really cool. It was really fun. But it definitely kind of dies out for you because like a lot of those micro games like repeat itself, and it's
Yeah,
just not great. But again, it's still really fun. It was a great game. I can't deny for what it was. It was a nice little pick up and play kind of thing.
mm, I can see that.
What about number three?
Number 3 for me is Knockout City.
Ooh.
That one actually caught me by surprise because when I saw Dodgeball game, I was like, I've played Dodgeball games on the PS2.
Mhm.
How's that gonna work on the Switch? But honestly, the controls are actually really intuitive. The actual gameplay, it's fun, it's fast paced. You can play a lot with friends too. Like I watched a bunch of friends play it, and unfortunately, I never got around to playing it myself. I wish I did, but the game itself was really, really quick. It's something that you can pick up and play for hours and probably never get bored. And I feel
Yeah.
like that's one of those games because it's pacey.
A
And
a
that's
a
the
friend of
same thing
mine
that
streams
Unite
that
had
like
going for it, right?
crazy.
Unite had the same thing. It's like 10-minute games, quick break, back in again. Like Knockout City's kind of in the same boat
Mhm.
where it's like quick, pacey, snappy games that you can just take a break when you're finding a lobby. And it's very easy to play. Like you can keep going for a
Oh,
long time. Like
absolutely. For me, so gameplay is awesome. It's cross-play, which makes it even better.
mm,
Um, a friend of mine, he streams that constantly. I watch him play it. He's like going crazy with all these techniques. A downside, I don't know if it was just me, but I know I've had a few issues like on beginning, but the servers were definitely kind of crappy. Like,
yeah.
I tried to get into a game and you'd get kicked out too often. It's like, all right, I'm gonna put this game down and I'm kind of done with it. I'm just gonna walk away and do something else that I know I can play without having to constantly. Because with Knockout City, like if it doesn't work, you're kind of restricted by that because it's an online multiplayer game.
Mm,
First, so it's just
yeah.
it's not it's for me like with the network issues, it kills it.
It does, yeah. But honestly, if you can get stability, I think they are better now than when they started. I
Oh
remember
yeah,
on
I was
release
watching
it
my
was
friend stream. He's
really
like, "Oh,
bad.
you got to try it again." I was like, "All right, let me see." PS5 has it for free. Maybe I'll re-download it and get the upgraded copy at that point.
You might as well, to be honest, you might as well.
Free
There's
version
no
of
harm in
Knockout
it.
City, I could do it. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
pluck here at the toenails. For me, number three goes to Mario Golf Super Rush. I love the game so much. I could play that for hours. I could sit
Yeah, I've
down and
watched
just
you
keep
play it
going.
for hours too.
Oh, I play it for hours. I'm not gonna hide it. Whip out the Yoshi, the yellow Yoshi, and just go ham on the ranked. Like I tried all this crazy stuff. It's too fun, and it's so easy to pick up and just do. You can't complain.
I think Mario sport games have always been like that. Like I remember Mario Tennis a long time ago. Kind of same
Yes,
thing. Just
that was a
go
great
pick up and
game.
play.
Pick up and
Um
play. I wish they'd redo Super Mario Strikers, which was their soccer game.
yeah.
That game was
Mm,
so fun. I think coming in the new year, I'm gonna do some throwback Thursdays again, and that's gonna be one of the ones on there.
yeah, I remember that game. That was one of my favorite games for a long time.
Oh, it's such a great game.
Strikers.
All right,
Yeah.
well, number two, what do you got?
So number two takes a break from Switch/ crossplay consoles, and even though it came out at the end of last year, it's still super relevant this year, and that's Phasmophobia.
Mhm.
Phasmo has had several updates this year. It had 3 different expansions, like, mid-September, it had a Halloween update, it's just had a Cursed Possession update, and
Mhm.
every single time they don't miss. The There's a new map, there's new ghosts, there's new items, the ghosts are harder, like, they added a new difficulty. They've constantly built on the game so well that even a year later, I'm still playing the game almost every day. Right, there's not many days that I don't play the game, and I've had some pretty fun moments on stream with Dixper and my chat, especially Average, loving to jump scare me to
He just likes
oblivion,
to beat up on you.
but it makes the game so much fun to play, like, just jamming out with some friends, trolling your friends too, and actually learning the game constantly. I really enjoy Phasma. I think it's gotta be up there for me.
Yeah. My number two is definitely a tie between a couple. Actually, no, it's not a tie. Number two is definitely Super Mario Party. That game came out. Yeah, it's a remake of the old N64 ones, or even a remake of the Top 100 from the DS days. But this game is so well polished. If you're playing by yourself, it's just such quicker pacing. Like it's a great feel around, and you could play it in the handheld mode, which makes it even better. So you could play Mario Party on the go when you want to do it, and just everything looks so polished. And there's so many like little like ease of moments there that like or the hell is it? What's the word? Shit. But it makes your life better when you're playing the
Quality of
game.
life.
Yeah,
Quality of
quality of
life.
life. That's what it's better quality of life moments in there. That's like, oh, CPU item mini game. You don't have to watch it. Here's just a minute. Here's his item. You don't have to watch that. Keep going. I think they did a really well placed job. they made it online multiplayer from the start, which is the best thing you could have done for this. Is
That
online
was the
multiplayer.
absolute crux for it. If they didn't do that, that game was
This would
dead.
not be
If
as
for
good
me.
as it was, but the
Yeah.
online multiplayer, the way the boards run, and just the quality of life adjustments they made to it was just perfect for it.
Yeah. And I mean, those kind of games when they get remade, I find it hard for them to mess it up.
Oh
Like
yeah,
there's very few things they could possibly have done wrong, but they did it so right, it's insane, right?
yeah.
The actual quality of the game is
Mario
just too
Party
good.
Superstars, they did great, and I think Rockstar needs to take a note out of theirs where they release a remake that isn't
Yeah,
so
stop doing
great.
mobile ports and do actual proper ports because you know the story about how it ended up getting us messed up.
Yeah, there was like they took the mobile ports of the game, didn't they?
Yeah,
So
it
like the
was
mobile
originally
stuff.
ported onto mobile, then which was a buggy mess in the first place,
Hmm.
and then they ported it into to the recent times with even more bugs on it than the blimmin' mobile ports had because they didn't fix the mobile port bugs first. So yeah, that's how that ended up flopping so fast.
So stupid. What is your number one game?
So I had a long think about this one because everyone's probably going to expect me to say a Pokemon game. I mentioned I hated New Pokemon Snap.
Hmm.
Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl I can put there because I haven't finished the game yet at the time we're recording this. I'm only a couple of gyms in.
Yeah, get
Um,
that.
but my number one is probably the biggest surprise to me, given the fact it's a fresh concept that actually took off, and that's It Takes Two.
Yeah.
Because I've always been nervous about split screen multiplayer games. I've
Hmm.
always hated the whole split screen feel. But It Takes Two have managed to put a game together that's split screen co op that actually is super well done. There's all kinds of mechanics that are very polished. It looks clean. The art style is super interesting. And, the puzzles are challenging,
Hmm.
but it keeps you wanting to play because you actually want to keep going on to find the story. My favorite character is the book. I gotta be honest. I
Hmm.
think the book's totally me, with all the corny jokes that it makes and everything like that. I feel like that's my spirit character. But but I really like how they put that game together. I don't think there's anything about that game I don't like.
No, It Takes Two is a beautiful, beautiful game. Me and my friend started playing it. We had to take a break due to school and other stuff. We're gonna try to finish it in the next year, but that game is beautiful. It's so well done. The book is. I know you said he's you, but the book is very horny. I feel like he gets very horny around these guys, and it's hilarious. I love it. The game is great, and I can't wait to beat it when we can. It's so amazing, and we record the whole thing, so we'll have a complete playthrough when we can.
Yeah, I love the comedic value that they put in the game.
That
But
game
I
is so
just
good.
love how they get the characters doing all sorts of stuff. Like that's
Yeah.
the thing that excites me. And it's different stuff too. Like you're not getting a jetpack like three different levels. You get it
Hmm.
one level, then you get something else. And it's really clever what they've actually done. Even if that, people complain it's like, oh well, it's pulling game mechanics from other games. Sure,
So,
but it's pulling them and doing them better. Like, what's the problem here?
well, next you're gonna tell me you don't want your musician sampling something to make a good song. Like, that's kind of what it is.
Which is every pop song in the last 20 years has
Yeah.
probably been
So
sampled, right?
I don't know. I like the way they did it. I don't care that they're taking other stuff. They made a well polished game. They won Game of the Year at the Game Awards this year, which was a great thing for them to do. Like, it's such a great game all
It's
around.
one of the few things the Game Awards have actually done right, in my opinion, is they get an actual good game. Like Ghost of Tsushima was also actually an honorable mention for me because I did actually think that game was fun, but like it was so hard. Ghost of Tsushima,
Yeah.
hard games frustrate me. Like I don't like games that are like stupidly obnoxious for no reason. Right?
Oh, Cuphead.
And that well, yeah, Cuphead's another example, but well, actually, is Cuphead really that bad?
Cuphead's pretty hard, but it's more of like boss fights, not like a required platforming or anything like that.
Yeah, but
Or
it's
quick
one of
time
those that
events.
once you figure out the pattern, you can beat it, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Ghost of Tsushima, there's just no it doesn't feel like there's a pattern when you're playing the game. It just
Hmm.
feels like you're getting annihilated by something left and right, and you don't even know what's going on. And that kind of put me off, but
I'm with you on that one. But my number one, the game that should have won more awards at the Game Awards, the Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
I was
I
surprised that that didn't win much either.
Yeah,
I thought that was a
I
great
was
game.
upset because that game was amazing. I played it the entire way through stream. Unfortunately, the last part I had to record due to internet, but just it was such a like, it looks amazing. Like you could see everything. It played so well, and just the story was so good. I loved every moment of that game. I actually might go back to it off stream just to do the challenge mode, just because of how much it was so fun and just so great. You can't beat a Ratchet and Clank game like that. And I'm so sad
No.
it didn't win more awards.
Yeah, I'm too, but it's one of those games that never appeals to mainstream media though, and
I
that's the
know.
problem. The Game Awards is like the most mainstream media as it gets, so like that's why things like Cyberpunk ended up on there, even though that was a mess,
Oh, that game
right?
bombed. That game
Yeah,
bombed.
but that was nominated for 2 awards.
Yeah, I
How?
know.
You know what I mean? It's like
Well, then also
that's
League of
where I
Legends
find it
seems to
squirmy.
win an award every year too because of the competitive scene. So, and that game, not for years.
Well, yeah, it's over a decade old, but the
Yeah.
actual esports scene, in terms of actual esports, there's not really much better than League of Legends, to be honest.
There's a few
In
honorable
terms,
mentions I would like to go over too. For me, I think Game Builder Garage on the Nintendo Switch. I think that was a little bit of a. I don't own it, but I've seen a few videos on it. I think that was a little bit of a hidden gem in there that could be pretty good for cheap as well. I don't know if you've seen much on that, the Game Builder's Garage.
I think I've missed that one. Don't. I know you've mentioned it now. I feel like someone else mentioned it, but I never actually ended up looking at it.
Yeah, I thought that was a little nice little game in there. It's cheaper than normal games. I thought, you can make your own little stuff. I thought that was a good little one that could have been picked up that I missed out on it, but it's probably dead already, but
Yeah, I'm just looking down the list to
there's
see if I
also
can remember.
Miitopia on the Nintendo Switch that I never finished, but was a fun little RPG game.
Yeah, a few friends of mine played that. That was Life is Strange as well. The True Colors came out.
Life is Strange is a good
Um,
one as
like
well.
that one to me was not as good. I don't think Life is Strange has ever been as good as the first season
I
of
never
Life is
really got
Strange.
into it, but I heard some great things, so I'm not gonna say anything bad about it. But
Yeah, like Life is Strange 2 wasn't my jam. I didn't like the characters. I couldn't relate to the characters at all. True Colors,
it was okay.
it's hard, right? Because like every time you see like games like that, you always end up comparing it to the previous ones because the
Hmm.
story arcs are different characters every time. It's almost like you've got a direct comparison of, is this a story arc that is relatable, or is this something that actually you can get into? I
Yeah,
couldn't get into the second one, and this one I was like, okay, it's all right, but it doesn't like jump out like season 1 did.
hmm
I feel like it's the too long effect. Like the game's been going for too long at this point. I feel like that game just kind of needs to stop,
yeah, there's certain
sadly.
things, but we touched on it a little bit. New Pokemon Snap that came out this year, April 30th. It came out with Returnal, which I heard was good, but we're gonna talk new Pokemon. I wasn't interested in Returnal, to be honest with you.
I was so upset because I played new Pokemon Snap on the N64 at my grandparents' house as a kid, and I knew full well that Kid Bombi would love this game, right? But Adult Bombi, no, it was not the upgrade that it should have been. Like they had so many opportunities there. I hated the fact that they kept the whole "you still got to go around the track on a fixed loop." I would
Yeah,
have much rather they did away with that. I mean, I know that's the original mechanic or
they're trying
whatever,
to
and they
stick
wanted
with
to
it,
keep
but
it, but this is 2021. Like we're not in the 90s anymore, right? So it's
yeah,
one of those where they could have done so much more with that. Because the thing that frustrates me is if I'm trying to get an objective or like a mission for a photo, and it's at the end of the level I have to do the entire level all over again just to get it. And then the whole photo starring system
hmm
did not make any sense to me. Like I was looking at it, I'm like, that's a rubbish photo. How is that 3 stars when this is a perfectly nice looking photo and it's 1? That doesn't make any sense to
yeah,
me. And it just got so frustrating. And then Eternal came out. I couldn't be asked. I'll be honest, I didn't even look at it. I didn't even
yeah.
download
Like I
it,
said, I
even though it
wasn't
was
too
a
interested
free
in
download.
Returnal either, so we're not gonna go to that one. We can talk about the new Crash Bandicoot that came out in March 12th, Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. I heard that was good. I actually started playing the Insane trilogy to play the new one, to play that one. So I will get to that at some point. But it's
I
Crash
think the
Bandicoot.
last I think the last Crash Bandicoot game I played was on the Game Boy Advance. It's been a long, long time, but I don't know. I think Crash is always a fun game to play. Like if that's your jam,
Yeah,
it's
it's definitely a good thing. We could talk about another. Was it Apex Legends made its way to Nintendo Switch this year? I'm not big
I
onto those. The
no, battle royales
Yeah,
and
that's the
first
word.
person
Battle.
shooters do not appeal to me
Yeah,
in the
so
slightest, and that game is both. So, uh, kind of pretty much sums that up for me. I'm just trying to see. Obviously, Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl came out. I don't know how far
yeah,
you've
we could
got
talk
into
about that
that
a little
game.
bit too. I mean, I didn't beat it yet. I'm still on Cynthia, but I haven't really had the time to do grinding. But I thought they did a really great remake. For me, I didn't play Pokemon Diamond and Pearl when I was younger. This is the first time into that world, and I thought it was a great adventure. But I feel like now, if I went into Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, I'd be so miserable because they have so many quality of life features in there that I've heard through the reviews, and I'm like, oh, I would not want to go back and try this.
See, I played the original one 15 years ago, and I remember it very well. The thing that kind of bothers me, I'm not that far into the game as of yet, which is why it wasn't in my top five.
Hmm.
But one of the things that bothers me is the amount of things that are so similar to the original. I talked about this before. Like Diamond and Pearl had one of the biggest problems, which was bad gym leader level scaling.
Hmm.
And so far from what I've seen, it's the exact same levels. All they've done is they've buffed the gym leaders' aces, which I'm for. I'm all for that. I've heard they buffed the Elite Four and Cynthia's apparently ridiculously difficult,
Hmm.
which is going to be fun because I'm Nuzlocking that game with a friend of mine who's barely ever Nuzlocked before. So that's going to be super interesting to see what happens. But um, honestly, I feel like they had a few missed opportunities. I would have liked to have seen, some more platinum elements so far. Like I want
Hmm.
the level scaling fixed because the third and fourth gym in Diamond and Pearl, their aces both level 30. And in a game where we've got an experience share that gives your whole team experience now, I'm easy hitting that cap. Like if I was hard level capping, I'm level 25 right now. In After doing a little bit of underground work um on my whole team. By the time I get to Veilstone, my Pokemon are going to be level 30.
Hmm.
So it feels like the level scaling is still wrong, and I felt like they could have fixed that, but they didn't. So that kind of bugs me a little bit. But if they've made the Elite Four and Champion as hard as people on Twitter are saying it is, then it may well end up being worth it. But that being said, though, the remix music is really nice. Really like what they did with that.
Yeah, I
And I'm
heard a lot of people
actually
were happy with
perfectly
that.
fine. I'm perfectly fine with the chibi style. I know a lot of people thought it was controversial, but honestly, I'm fine with it.
I
I
liked it. I
think it's
like the style
I
of
think
it.
it's nice. I mean, I've seen Zelda games in the same style.
People don't
Nobody
get mad at
complains
that.
about Zelda.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. For me, Diamond and Pearl was a good thing. I heard a lot of people were upset that they didn't add anything big, like with Ruby and Sapphire, they added more Mega Evolutions. And with the Dynamax Pokemon, they really couldn't do anything with those afterwards. Like, so I thought they could have went back to Mega Evolutions for a little bit, but they didn't, which is a little
I'm
sad.
kinda glad they didn't know, because the
Yeah,
problem with Mega Evolution is if you put it in the same generation as Dynamax, then how do you integrate that into Sword and Shield?
yeah, you really
Because
don't.
the reality is the competitive meta game for VGC is still on Sword and Shield. It
Hmm.
didn't move to BDSP, unlike when it moved to Let's Go. That's kind of the problem. Is like then you're asking for Mega Evolutions to be in Sword and Shield, which they already flat out said right from the get go would never happen. So
Yeah,
it's one of those problems where if you overload the game with too many mechanics, like competitive play becomes unviable. Like
yeah.
Dynamax
No,
has
I get
been the subject of controversy as it is. Imagine Dynamaxing a Mega Evolved Pokemon, right?
that.
It'll be so
Oh
broken.
God, that buff.
It would be so broken. Like Mega Mawile would just be one-shotting everything. Mega Gallade is just one-shotting everything. And then Mega Ordino doesn't die. Like it's like okay.
Yeah, they really
Uh,
kind of they dropped a lot of these few things like those Z moves. I feel like haven't come back yet. 'Cause-
which is which is another polarizing thing. Like the whole gimmicks in the last three gens have been polarizing.
yeah,
But
so that's fine. But again, I was happy with it. The Grand Underground was so fun. I loved playing in there.
see, I haven't done enough in the ground underground yet to actually
I had
see
fun
if
with
I
it.
enjoy it or not. Like my initial impression of the statues isn't super great, but I haven't used them enough to know quite what I'm looking for. Like, I still don't quite understand it because it never really explained it very well
No, they really
in the
didn't. I
actual
had
game.
Average come on my stream and he explained some stuff for me, and I was like, ah, crap.
Now it makes more sense, yeah.
Yeah,
But it's
so
like, I wish they implicitly explained it more in the games.
it
That
would
would
have
have
been
been a bit of a
nice.
nice one.
Would have been nice. Um, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 came out this year. Those are remakes. If you played that back in the day, it seems more or less the same.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at a lot of remakes. Like, there's a bunch of Kingdom Hearts remakes
Yep.
or
DC
remixes.
Superhero Girls Teen Power that came out this year.
What are you expecting me to say to that?
Well, you don't like that one?
uh, let's see. Disgaea 6 came out.
What is it?
That's
That
an
new
RPG.
The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD remake came out, and not a lot of people were happy with that one. Because that one I heard they didn't
Yeah.
do much.
No, it's literally a port. I mean, they literally said it was a port.
Yeah,
So
like I don't know why people
what
were
were
getting.
people expecting, you know?
Oh, here's an
The
interesting one I want to. If you actually looked into this, Microsoft Flight Simulator.
I watched somebody actually look at this.
It
I
looks
didn't.
pretty good.
It looks nice. I don't know how it plays, but like it looked a lot better than I thought it would.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, I mean, I'm surprised that we haven't talked about the biggest gotcha of the year, Genshin Impact.
I'm trying to beat around the bush on that one, to be honest with you. I did not
Yeah.
get into that game. Like, it didn't appeal to me. I don't know about you, but like,
No, like those kind of games never really did appeal to me, but
yeah,
I have to give props to the art style of the game. I did like a lot
it
of the
looks
character
nice. Yeah,
designs and stuff like that. Like it looks good. I wouldn't play it myself, but it's a game I think actually, does deserve some plaudits for it
we
actually
got to give it some
being
words.
fun to play.
Yes, Genshin Impact was great. It was a good one. Sonic Colors Ultimate, though, a game that I actually did do a little research in. I never played Sonic Colors, but this game actually got me a little interested. It looks amazing. It looks great. Like the outer space aesthetic they do is so cool. Like
Mm.
Sonic Team or Sonic in general seems to be trying to come back in some good ways here. They finally dumped all those bad Sonic characters and just are trying
Yeah,
to start fresh here.
or a lot of the ones that nobody ever hears of because they only appeared in like super niche Sonic games from like 20 years ago.
But what is
And
it?
then it's like,
Silver
oh,
from that one still around.
yeah, exactly. Some of them still sneak around, but that's
Or
trying
all
to.
right, a game that I play a lot. MLB The Show 21 was probably the only good sports game to come out this year. Because FIFA's not great. I don't like FIFA that much. Madden's crap, and 2K is just money hungry.
They're all EA games, funnily enough, like you just literally mentioned. So,
No, one of those is 2K is owned by 2K.
oh, that's right,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
But the
MLB The
others are
Show
EA.
is owned by Sony themselves. Actually,
Yeah,
the two
but like
EA games
even
are
then,
FIFA and Madden, which are crap.
yeah, which is never a surprise. They've been cash cows for years.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like I haven't played a FIFA game since 2014.
Oh, here's a game that I forgot to mention that I really loved. Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. I don't know why I
I
stumbled
can
on
never
that.
say that either. So
Super Monkey
rather you
Ball
than me.
Banana Mania that came out this year. Actually came out a little before my birthday, and it was pretty cool because it was a remake of all the first three Super Monkey Balls, and that group it's great. They did a great job, like integrating the old games into there.
Yeah, it's one of the remake generation, right? But it's been one of the remakes that actually stood out because they did a proper job of it, right?
Yes,
But because like there's so many remakes and
remakes
stuff,
after
or like
remakes.
additions.
I think we need to come back to your favorite one here, Nickelodeon All Star Brawl.
Yeah, all right.
Garfield the cat is coming out for the game this month.
I'd rather eat lasagna than play that game with Garfield in it.
I know.
Like,
So here's a question I have for you. Did you ever get into the game Left 4 Dead?
I did not, but I did watch my Lego artist play Back for Blood.
That's where I was segueing.
So
And, Back for Blood.
yeah,
I want to play that. It looks really fun. The team from Left 4 Dead looks like they did a great job. And if I ever do pick up a copy, I will definitely be streaming it myself because it seems like a fun first person horror game there. I think that'd be good, even though I don't play a lot of scary games. So I'm a wimp.
yeah, I'm not super into them aside from Phasmo, and I've been getting more into Dead by Daylight recently, but
Mhm.
the whole competitive horror game doesn't really appeal to me. Speaking of horror games, though, Fatal Frame had another edition come out this year,
Yeah, I
made in
heard that.
Blackwater. I actually really like the Fatal Frame series,
Hmm.
like in general. Like I like the character development. I actually like the story in that game. I like the whole taking a picture of the ghost mechanic, like or taking a picture of the spirit mechanic. It's actually super interesting because it does rely on timing.
Mm.
But I think it actually do really nice games. Fatal Frame. Um, but that's another game I think my Lego artist plays a lot of.
Does he?
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, he
Uh,
loves Fatal Frame.
we can talk about also Forza Horizon 5, which was that new racing game for Xbox that came out, which looks beautiful, by the way.
It makes me sad that it's an Xbox game
Yeah, it's like only
because,
Xbox,
like,
but it looks
I,
beautiful.
I I'm a Need for Speed player, so like the
Ah,
driving games used to be my thing. I used to play a lot of them as a teenager, so like when I see the Forza games, I'm like, I really want to play those, but I'm not buying an Xbox just to play them.
yeah, I get that.
Sorry.
I didn't realize this too. Battlefield 2042 came out the same day as Pokemon.
It did, yeah,
I did not
it
know
did.
that.
Very weird to see two major franchises releasing at the same time. It doesn't happen very often.
Well, I mean, PUBG released a game on phone the same day as Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic came out, and Grand Theft Auto the trilogy.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
interesting.
let's see.
God,
Where
that
else was
trilogy
I
was
look?
so bad.
I mean, I guess we should talk about one FPS game that came out recently, which is Vanguard, Call of Duty
Call of
Vanguard.
Duty. I mean, it's
Like,
Call of Duty.
it's Call of Duty, yeah. I mean, it looks better than some of the previous
It looks
ones.
good,
Like,
but
I
also,
played Call of Duty as a kid, but not much.
I was gonna say, I heard it had a little issues, like a little balancing issues with like the shotguns and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's had I mean, every Call of Duty game has an OP gun, let's be honest.
Yeah,
Like, I remember
yeah,
playing, I think it was Black Ops 2, and I just carried the same SMG the entire time, the same build. I just ran and gunned people down all the time. Like, everyone finds something that's broken. It's just how the game
absolutely.
goes. But COD's always been cash cow type of game.
Oh, absolutely.
Although that
Comes out
being
every year.
said, the ones that Sledgehammer do are way better than the other ones, though.
Hmm.
So at the very least, like Vanguard is decent for a Call of Duty game. If you're a Call of Duty fan, I'm not, but
I play it every
like
once in a
that
while.
game is. Well, the game exists and it's better than some of the previous ones, but again, it's still COD.
Well,
Let's be
there's
honest.
also a here's a Switch game that might be interesting to you. Big Brain Academy, Brain vs. Brain. It's a fun party puzzle game. I have that one. I bought that one, and me and my girlfriend love to play it. It's a fun like little game where we get to, really test your brain and just like solve little puzzles.
You trying to say I need brain training over here? I used to
I
do a lot of brain training actually. Funny enough, back in the DS days,
big
I
Brain
used to
Age.
I used to do a lot of the brain training games,
Yeah.
and
Oh
I
my
was
god.
very good at them. I used to get some of my kids doing those actually
Ooh,
when I was
nice.
teaching. Yeah, some of the kids used to do my higher level kids used to love doing the brain training things because we'd
Oh,
have
that's a
the
DLC.
rubbish DS's games, but um, like we'd put them on and it would be like that would be their like challenge day if you like,
Hmm.
and they loved it. It was great, and I did it with them too, and they used to hate it that they couldn't beat me, but at the same time, but it pushed them on to actually really work harder. Like brain training games are fun to me.
Oh yeah, no,
I
absolutely. They're pretty cool. They get you thinking a little bit.
yeah.
So why don't we switch gears now a little bit? 2022 is coming up. Any games that you are excited for?
Um, the one that really strikes me is the Project Triangle strategy,
Hmm.
the tactical RPG that got announced. I actually really love the look of that game, and I'm really hopeful that they do a good job of it.
Hmm.
The beta and the demo that came out did look pretty good. Um, so I'm really hoping that they put that game like in the great spot that it deserves to be in. The potential is massive for those kind of games.
Yeah, absolutely. That looks
They
like it should be a fun one.
And then the other one that comes out to mind is Splatoon.
Oh, I want to buy Splatoon 2 and then get Splatoon 3 because that's supposed to be coming out like middle of the year, I believe.
Yeah. And then, of course, we can't be Pokemon fans and not talk about Legends Arceus.
That's where I was
So,
going because I pulled up a list of stuff that's coming out, and Pokemon Legends Arceus is the first one on the list because that comes out in January, actually, end of January.
Yeah, so it's not really the first game to come out. Like God of War's coming on PC.
Weird
Uh,
West is coming out January 11th.
yeah, Monster Hunter Rise is going to PC on January 12th. There's
Yeah,
Astroneer on the 13th. I've seen people play Astroneer on PC. It's a pretty interesting game. Not my thing.
but we
Let's
got it.
see.
Did you see the new Voltorb version that they showed?
The Historia and Voltorb. Yeah, I actually like that
He
design
looks pretty
quite a
cool. I'm not
lot.
gonna lie, he does look interesting.
Yeah, I like his backstory actually. It kind of leads into why Voltorb is always so angry
Yeah,
really well. They actually designed that lore so well. I'm all for it.
it looks like it's gonna be a
Uh,
fun little game, like a prequel to all the Pokemons.
I'm just so hoping that Game Freak haven't cut corners with that game like they traditionally do, because like
Yeah,
the game has too much to offer, and if they mess it up now, it's gonna set a very bad precedent moving forward. Because Ilka did the remakes, right?
yeah,
For me, and I said this before when they announced this, I was like, why is Ilka not doing Legends Arceus? Because I felt like that would have been so much of a better fit for Ilka. Because I look at Ilka's games, they make a lot of games somewhat like Legends Arceus. And then they did the remakes instead. I'm like, why?
yeah. I get that. There's another game I want to talk about, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which looks like it's gonna be an open world Kirby game, which I'm really excited to see what they do with that. I feel like that's gonna be awesome.
Providing it is open world, yeah.
Provided,
I
yeah.
don't know if
Still,
that
it
if
looks
actually dropped in,
amazing
but
though for what it is. Like, I'll still buy it even if it is an open world because it just looks so good.
yeah, it looks great, but I hope it actually works. Like this is always my problem with like releases or like future releases. It's like
Hmm.
when we see the trailers, like yeah, we're obviously gonna be wild because they're the trailers, right? You want people to be hooked on the game. But then I always find myself feeling like I'm being set up for disappointment.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah.
I don't want to do that. So I'm very cautious in
Oh,
terms of like
absolutely will be
where do I
cautious.
want to put myself? Because we're still coming out of a pandemic, right? These games are not going to be top tier because we haven't had the same whole, massive production value. Like some of these games are clearly going to be cutting back. So it does come down to like, what are we going to be able to pull off? Or what are these games actually
Yeah, what
going
we're
to
gonna
be
be
able
able
to
to
do?
do. A game that I think we're gonna have to mention, as we mentioned earlier, the Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild sequel is supposed to be coming out next year.
They keep it. There's always rumblings of a Breath of the Wild 2. And then they do this wonderful part of their directs where it's like, here's Breath of the Wild 2. Look, we're going to tell you about like months down the line. It's like,
Yeah,
come on, just tell us already.
just do something
Like,
with it.
just give us something. Because I feel like people are frustrated by that game already because like we don't know anything. Like
There's nothing
we
to know right now because they literally have nothing.
Yeah, they haven't told us anything. They don't seem to have anything, and I can't get behind that, unfortunately.
No,
That's
it's
my
it's
problem.
becoming a really annoying.
I'm just seeing if there's anything that's due to come out later.
Well, there's also
Let's see.
Splatoon 3 as we mentioned. Suicide
Yeah,
Squad kills the Justice League.
I couldn't get into Suicide Squad,
No,
or at
not for
least not the
you.
games.
I thought it'd
Like,
be
the
interesting.
movie was fine. The games, I don't know.
Apparently,
I'm not
Pokemon
unsold.
Trading Card Game Live is supposed to come out next year.
Yeah, I've heard rumblings of that. I don't know how actually accurate or confirmed that is,
Yeah,
but
we'll see how that
that would be
goes.
kinda interesting.
God of War Ragnarok is set to come out next year as well.
Yeah, God of War games are always pretty good in my experience.
Speaking of kind of some horror games that I'm interested in, have you ever watched Dragon Ball Z?
I have.
Did you hear about Dragon Ball The Breakers that is coming out next year?
Oh, is that the Dead by Daylight lookalike, but with
Yes.
Dragon Ball characters? Yeah,
Yes.
I'm kind of intrigued by that.
I
I'm
am
kind of intrigued to see
very
how they balanced
intrigued.
it.
Very intrigued. That looks like it'll be a pretty interesting.
I feel like that will get repetitive very quickly though, unless they actually add more characters, because I think there's only one killer character I'm gonna say for Dead by Daylight
Oh, I
reasons.
thought that from the
Uh,
trailer, they showed a trailer where like Frieza and Kid Buu were part of the like
but
the
I think
killers.
those 2 were supposedly survivors. I may be wrong, I'll have to rewatch the trailer to see it, but it looked like they were trying to escape from the other
We'll keep
character.
an eye out. They'll probably have more coming out for that, like they do.
I hope so,
I
because
hope
what they
so.
showed was not very much, but
They really didn't.
you never quite know. But the intrigue is there.
And then Saints Row. Saints Row's coming out, which is a nice GTA clone, which is like a little more superhero like esque kind of thing, or like superpowers.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Saints Row games
Oh, I forgot
out
about
there.
this too. There's one I forgot that I was a little interested in. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. If you ever played Borderlands.
I did not, but one of my very good friends is a streamer who's actually called Tiny Tina, which was before Borderlands came out. So yeah, she mentioned that one to me.
Yeah, that
Uh,
that's supposed to be like a D&D kind of thing, but like where like you're the story is like they're gathered around a table playing D&D and then you're playing through the story.
yeah, not my cup of tea. Tabletop games don't really suit me. I don't
It's
have
more
the
of a shooter
patience or the
actually,
role
to be
playing
honest with
character.
you.
But yeah, this one will probably end up being more of a shooter because it's more Borderlands style. But yeah, no, I don't see myself looking at that. I can see a lot of friends of mine would,
I'm
but
one of them.
for me, no.
Yeah,
Yeah, precisely, right? There's also another Persona game that's supposed to be coming out.
I
Persona
saw.
4 Arena Ultimax.
I didn't realize
Um,
Dynasty Warriors were still making games. I thought that series was done.
wait, that game exists still?
Yeah, Dynasty Warriors 9
Wow,
Empires is set to come out February 15th.
that's crazy.
I thought that was
Uh,
done.
I thought that was gone years ago and all. I haven't seen the last like 4.
Oh, that new Avatar game that's supposed to come out too.
That
Avatar,
should.
the James Cameron movies.
Mm. Movies and games and me, I find very hard to get into because
I don't find
if
myself getting into this one. I think it's not going to be great.
no, I can't see it being great either. Unfortunately.
Bayonetta 3 is coming out too, which is going to take a weird turn. Because that one's exclusively going to be Nintendo based. And it's going to be
Mm.
rated T.
Really?
Yeah, they're downscaling it.
That feels very odd for Bayonetta to me.
Yeah. And then if we really want to talk about another game, Fall Guys is coming to Xbox and Switch in 2022.
I feel like that game's called Falls Guys because most guys are falling out with that game at one point or another. I fell out with it after season 1. I
Yeah, I
haven't
was
played
kind of done with
any
it after
since.
that too.
Hey, it's still going and people are still streaming it.
They
Like,
are. But here's a
uh,
game I'll be streaming when this comes out. Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga.
mm.
I
I
love
can
those
see
Lego
myself having a
games.
look at that.
I
Lego
love
games
them.
surprise me. They always seem to surprise me. I'm always like, no, there's no way this is gonna work. It can't. And then it does. And I'm like,
It just
how?
does somehow.
How does this keep working? It shouldn't, but it does.
They
It
do
doesn't
such a
make
great
sense.
job with those Lego games.
Mm.
Oh, and then here's a weird one: Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. If you ever played the first Mario and Rabbids game,
I might have done. I remember a Mario & Rabbids game, but I don't remember it
that
well.
game was oddly fun, and I'm excited to see what they do in the sequel.
Hopefully, it's not the same that we always see with sequels, where it's worse than the original one.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Let's see. I don't see anything that's actually formally announced yet. There's a bunch of games that's still to be announced. I'm trying to see if there's
There's a
anything.
lot going on there, but I think we kind of hit all the big ones here.
Yeah, I can't see anything else immediately jumping out at me as like a game I would look at.
No, not really.
Uh, because like
Uh,
Life is Strange's remastered collection is coming out, but that's just all the old games in one.
yeah.
Uh,
Cyberpunk 2077 is coming out for next gen.
who cares? The original gen was pretty bad. So,
Yep.
uh,
Yep. And A Quiet
yeah.
Place.
I don't
Like
think
the
I know that
movie.
one too well.
Yeah, it
I'm
looks like the
assuming
movie.
it is. I'm assuming it is.
I mean, there's not really much else there. I think we hit all the big ones. I mean, it was a good year of gaming this year, and hopefully next year we can get some big hits too.
Like this year was the year of more remakes and then a few like odd sparks.
Hmm.
But looks like next year there's a lot more new games coming.
Yeah,
Like a
I
lot
think
more
the
different
companies are
concepts
figuring out how to
coming.
work in the pandemic, and they're starting to make better strides here.
Yeah, and there's a lot of games that are moving from console to console. Like Monster Hunter Rise has been out for ages. God of War's been out for ages.
Hmm.
So like
Fall
it's gonna be a
Guys.
lot of it's gonna be a lot of moving around ports and stuff like that. But maybe a gem will come out of nowhere, like It Takes Two did, and kind of explode.
Oh yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be an interesting year regardless.
It's
But
going to be a
I think
very
I'll be.
interesting year in general.
Maybe we'll get Pokemon Gen 9. Maybe we'll get an announcement on that on Pokemon Day.
Yeah,
And
maybe.
we'll see. That'll shake things up a fair bit.
So since they did Sword
if
and
we get
Shield,
it.
what's going to be the next things? Like, where else do you go with it?
Who knows? Like, I've seen a lot of rumors that it might be an Italian region next.
Hmm.
That will be pretty interesting. I've seen like Italian references in BDSP actually.
Maybe there'll be a flying spaghetti monster.
That's the legendary. Yeah,
Yeah,
spaghetti and meatballs. That's
Well,
that's those are the legendaries.
I'll go over why I'll bring up the flying spaghetti monster when we're done recording, because we don't need to get into that stuff. Besides that, anything else you want to wrap up on here?
Um, other than the fact that it's been a pleasure being here as always, always nice talking to you. I'm super excited to see what we get next year.
I'm
Hopefully,
pretty
more
hyped.
announcements. Please, something that's going to come out of the woodwork and surprise me. I
Oh,
would love to do
absolutely.
that. And so when we sit here next year, then we've got some surprises to talk about.
Oh, absolutely. With that, we're going to wrap it up here. I hope you guys liked and enjoyed. Make sure to check out Rabambi Teacher on all his stuff. His links will be down below, like we did for their story. And we'll be back in 2022 where we talk some more games. We'll get more guests and we'll talk other cool things. And hopefully we'll have Rabambi back on here for more podcasts.
Absolutely.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Take care.